Hello everyone, today we'll be looking at these two BMW X5 E70s, also known as the second generation. So we're inside the white X5 and it's quite nice. We have a beige leather interior, the seats are comfortable. So these are our climate controls. This is our fan speed. Put that off. We have heated seats, 3-stage. And this is the gear stick. It's an 8-speed automatic. You can choose, press that for park. And there's Tiptronic feature. There's no paddle shifters. These are stereo controls to control the radio, and this is our cruise control. We also have a steering column adjustment, and this is our hazard light controls. Let's see how they sound. And this is our lock and unlock button. So this is iDrive. If you've seen my 7 Series review, it's basically the BMW's system for navigation. So you control it with this swivel knob here, and you can go up to different settings of the menu, like telephone, BMW Online. Then you can go to menu by pressing this button here, and then you can go back. There's also climate control. You just swipe to for like up, down, left, right climate, and then you can see the climate control in a different explanation. So now the interior is a nice place to be. You have nice leather armrests. You have wood trim, and the glove box. You may think it's there, but no. You press this button, and it pops up nicely. The light inside, close it like that. And this car also has a panoramic sunroof. So you just push it backwards, and it reveals all the light and makes the interior nice and airy. So yeah, you can see all above you. I like it. It's a nice feature to have. And then you just close it back. Pushing that forwards. So yeah, it can bring apparently the sunroof, you lose a bit of headroom, but me being a child, there's plenty headroom, and I think adults will be fine in here. It's a good space for your feet, and the materials are good. You have soft touch here. It's nice interior, I think. There's some storage here, cup holders. They're quite good cup holders. And there's a small storage box here, and a lighter socket or a power outlet, and a sort of ashtray sort of thing. So yeah, that's the interior of the X5. There are some controls. There's a DTC, and then there's our parking sensors, that sort of stuff. So a feature this car has is the head-up display. In the video it's flickering, but it's really not. It shows 0 miles per hour. Because the sat-nav is on, it's also showing sat-nav directions, the road we're on. So this is a nice feature. You can just look directly and it'll be there. It uses like a projector sort of thing to project it on the windscreen. So I'm inside the back, and again it's a nice place to be. We have a armrest here with cup holders. Fold it away, and we have some storage here. You can put your storage obviously grab handles. We have the wood trim, and like the door handles is like a sort of aluminium sort of trim here. And then speakers, we have electric windows, one touch automatic. So yeah, we have it's tinted here. So we're going to demonstrate the third row. But before, a main difference that I'll also show you on the 5-seater is that on the 5-seater there's an additional bolster to make it look nice. However, on the 7-seater they've removed it because it matters more to get in as easily as possible in and out of the car. So my brother's going to demonstrate how the 7 seats are. So climb inside. So yeah, so how does it compare to the Volvo XC90 we used to own?
The Volvo XC90 was very spacious, but this, the seats are so small, it can't even fit booster seat on here. It'll block the cups and block this thingy.
So yeah, if you didn't know, we used to own an XC90, but we sold it before I started doing reviews. So that's the third row. So we're going to take a look at the boot. So there's a rear parking camera over here, but this one has an electronic boot while that one doesn't. So it rises, and there's a decent amount of space with the 7 seats. We have a split tailgate, so you can sit on it. It's like a Range Rover. So there's a decent amount of space, and you can fold these seats down. Revealing quite a lot of space. There's some underfloor storage, which is also lockable. And yeah, you've got good space. There's some storage nets. There's a storage box. It's easy to load things in. You'll have a lot of room if you also fold down the middle row. So yeah, space is quite good. To close the boot, you pull this up and then you press this button, and then it just rolls down. So where's the interior of the 40D, the grey one, and the interior is also a nice place to be. We have the sport seats, so you can move the bolts, this bit here, in and out. But I prefer the beige interior. It's just my preference. I like beige in cars more than black, but it's still a nice place to be. I think we have thicker bolsters for holding you in. And these are the electric seat controls. There's forwards, backwards, and up, down. And we have 2-stage memory. And then so the back reclined bit controls here. So we're also inside the car, and we also have iDrive, but it's a whole different system. The menu looks like this, and the dial here is different. And in the older car, we just have menu, but in this we have a lot more shortcut buttons. So instead of turning the dial to get to different stuff and going through, you can just press a button. So that might be more convenient. Like the other one, we also have an electronic handbrake with an auto hold feature. And because this is a sportier car, we have, instead of the wood trim, we have some aluminium sporty trim, and we have a different steering wheel. We have some trim here, and I think this is aftermarket. So we also have our radio controls, and over here, and our cruise controls. The hazard lights, yeah, they sound the same. This is our air conditioning controls. It's basically the same. And this is our radio. We also have a CD player. and obviously our cup holders, and the glove box, yeah, it's the same thing. I prefer the other car's interior because 2 reasons. First, beige interior and wood trim, but if I had the beige interior and wood trim in this car, I'd prefer this more because it has the more updated iDrive system. So yeah, this is the interior. We also have cruise controls. So yeah, this is interior, and you can see. So the grey car has a bird's eye view 360-degree camera. The way it shows that like the car's up in the air, it uses the side cameras on the wing mirrors, and the green shows there's nothing there, and the red shows there's something there. So it is a handy feature for like a big car like this to park into spaces. As I mentioned before while I was doing the white X5, because this is a 5-seater, you don't need to climb back. And we have additional bolsters because it looks nice and it feels nice. So that's a difference. This car also has some nice features like the sunshades, which click there. And it also covers this window here. It's also a nice place to be. It's very similar in the back. We have obviously air vents, stuff like that. There's no panoramic sunroof. That's one thing that's missing. There's also a sunshade here. So yeah, it's very similar. So we have a manual opening boot. It's not electronic. So there are no 7 seats. There's also underfloor storage here, and there's our split tailgate, and we have a load cover. There's no 7 seats to fold up. We have a lockable underfloor storage with a gas strut, and yeah, it's also a very spacious boot. If you fold down the middle seats, you can have van type room. It's a 60-40 split rear, so it's quite spacious, and there's no button. This one's a manual boot, but it has a soft close. In the white car, we have a 3-litre inline-6 twin-turbo diesel, putting out 286 brake horsepower and 558 Newton meters of torque. It's mostly plastic, but there's a BMW badge reminding that you have a BMW, and it says BMW built June 2008. On this X5, the grey one, we have a slightly different cover, but the engine is also a 3-litre twin-turbo inline-6, but because it's the 40D, it puts out 306 brake horsepower and 599 Newton meters of torque. There's plenty of power. It's also plastic, but it's a slightly different plastic. It looks a bit more modern, and there's also a BMW badge. And it says built October 2010. It doesn't say BMW built on this one, so that's a difference. So we're going to start the engines. So yeah, it's a 6-cylinder diesel sort of sound. So we're also going to start the 40D. This sounds slightly different. It might be because this is a slightly newer engine. So yeah, they sound both like 6-cylinder diesels, and it sounds better than a 4-cylinder diesel. So first we'll compare the exterior. Obviously this one's white, this one's grey, and This one is a pre-facelift, it's a 2008. This one is a facelift, it's a 2010. The exterior differences is also trim related. This one is a SE and this one is an SE Sports, which is basically an SE with all the M Sport suspension, but it has the SE running boards. This one doesn't, even though it's an SE. So first, the headlights. So you can see that they're slightly different. There's this thing here, and it's not here, like this bit here, yeah. And the bumpers are slightly different. These bumpers are body coloured, and these are both fake. Well, not fake, but they're there for style purposes. They look slightly different. This one's longer. I think that's to do with the trim. And this is a different colour. It matches the grille. This one is black. This is not original. This is just some stickers. Now going on to the side of the car, the wheels are a big difference. These are 20-inch alloys, and these are 18 inches. The tyres, if we look, these tyres are absolutely massive, and both of these cars have around £1,000 spent on them. This one has £1,000 spent on new tyres, and this one has £1,000 spent on one of the air suspension compressors failed. So they both have money spent on them quite recently. As we can see, this has the running boards and this doesn't. The badges over here are missing. There should be badges on both sides. This one is a 40D, this one is a 35D, but on the other side there's aftermarket badges which say 300, and there's also an aftermarket badge saying bi-turbo. So this would actually be a 35D. We both have plastic arches to give it a tough sort of look. Indicator repeaters here. Big wing mirrors. This M badge looks aftermarket. The brake calipers on this car have been painted. There's an M logo there. There are roof rails. And this one has chromish sort of treatment going around, while this one has a black sort of treatment instead. And as you can see, this one is the sporty one, this one is the more, well, you could say luxurious one. Dual exhaust tips, both of them. And one of the biggest differences on the pre-facelift and the facelift is the tail lights. On this one, this is the brake light, and these strips here, they illuminate at night time. This is the indicator, and this is, I think, the rear fog light, or is this the rear fog? I'm not really sure. This might just be for design purposes to make it look more BMW like. But this one, the top bit is the indicator. This thing here is the light nighttime running lights. This is the rear fog light, and this is the brake light. So those are the differences. Both have these spoiler sort of things, plastic over here. Rear wipers, both have them. So yeah, I'm not sure. This is missing. Oh, and these reflectors are down here, and the reflectors on the facelift are up here, And this has a body coloured treat bumper. This has a plastic bumper. So this rear arch here, I'm not sure if you can see in the video, but this is plastic. And this extends down into plastic and then stops and then becomes body coloured. Well, this, it stays plastic and then it goes around and the full bumper's plastic. I think that might be a trim related thing. The rear bumper on this is slightly sporty. It has a bit of design here. Some nice chrome treatment there, over there. This is just big plastic bumper. And I think these cars look really nice. There was also the X6, which is some coupe version of this. I'm not a fan of because I don't like the look of coupe SUVs personally. And they could only, the original ones were only 4-seaters. So there's not really much point, in my opinion. So that's the exterior of the car. So I'd just like to say thanks to the owners for lending me their cars. They have well maintained their cars, they've maintained their cars well. If you think you can just keep it, if you have a Toyota where you don't have to service it, stuff like that, these are not the cars for you. You have to maintain them. In that way, they're sort of like a Range Rover. You have to keep them well, you have to maintain them properly, you have to spend a bit of money on them. But as always, thanks for watching. See you soon in another video. And please like and subscribe.